All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to week number 2. That is right, week number 2 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class for the summer of 2022. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Chase K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is we are going to do a state of the course update. We're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming assignments or a upcoming assignment, and then we are going to talk a little bit about APA. So this check-in video should be significantly shorter than the one I did last week. The overview check-in video, that one was about 40 minutes. I should be able to get through this one in about 25 minutes, and you should be speeding me up because, as you all know, I do talk slow. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. I apologize for the wrinkled shirt, but hey, it is what it is. It's this summer, and I am chilling. I have not had to leave the house all day except to take my daughter to daycare, and I say it is a wonderful feeling working from home all day and being able to get a little bit of a nap. Don't tell my wife, she'll be jealous. Okay, let's get into what is coming up. Pause. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. The things that we have coming up are... We will have discussion board number 2 coming up on June the 19th, which is this Sunday. Again, due date June the 19th. And also your database discussion unassignment will also be due on June 19th, which is this coming Sunday. I see that several of you have already actually completed the database unassignment assignment. And if you have already done that, then kudos to you. Everyone who has done it so far has done a good job. As you can see, what you'll have here for those of you who have not done it yet and aren't sure what I'm talking about. I did go into the assignment, the database unassignment from the home screen. And from here, you'll see your format here. So the format for your database, basically all you have to do is copy and paste these fields and then replace the information in the field that is for cables here, replace that with the information for your database, and just simply do that, complete all of these fields and post it. And I am going to actually pick on Brian because he was the first one to do it. Brian did a great job, as did everybody else who has done it so far. And so as you can see, all Brian did was he replaced my, as you can see, I was concentrating on cables here when I did it. And Brian replaces cables with his assigned database, which is Project Muse. And again, your assigned databases are all listed here if you are left out. And I do believe we have some new students who weren't on the roster when I actually completed this. So if you have been left out and don't have a database assigned, you need to email me right away, and I will get one assigned for you. So, like I said, Brian did a great job with this, as did everybody who came after him. So if you need an example of how to do this, then you can just look at those who have already done it. And you can look at my example, and once you've done that, you should be able to go ahead and do your database unassignment. The reason why these are done as discussion posts is because this is going to be helpful information for you. So this is basically peer-to-peer oriented learning. And so with peer-to-peer oriented learning, basically what you're doing is you're learning from your classmates. So your classmates are providing this information, and then once Sunday rolls around and everybody has posted their database unassignment feedback, I am going to encourage you all to look at what your classmates have done, and this is a good way to learn about the various databases. Okay, and then the other thing that you have coming up due on this coming Sunday is going to be your discussion board number 2 for seeking and finding information. And yes, this the module is labeled weeks 2 and 3. So this is actually a 2-week module for my summer and for my spring and fall classes, but here it gets combined into 1 week. You know how that goes. And I've got a little note about that there, but go ahead and complete this also by June the 19th, and you will be sitting pretty. Now, your assignment is going to be due a week from Sunday. That is your virtual reference assignment. That's going to be due on June the 26th. And this is something that you should be doing with a partner that was assigned to you in the announcements. So if you have not made contact with your partner, go ahead and get on the ball for that so that you can go ahead and get your virtual reference practice done, and you can go ahead and get that assignment turned in and not have any last minute frustrations. Okay. The last thing that I want to kind of go over from here is I am going to mention very quickly that the LibGuide assignments, because I see quite a few of you are actually working ahead. The LibGuide assignment, I may go ahead and create the logins for LibApps for you all later this week. So I will send a message if I do that. If I don't, then I will probably send them next week. But either way, I will send you all an announcement letting you know that that is coming. And so once I send those logins for LibApps, you're going to want to go into that welcome email, go into LibApps, change the password to something you remember, and then you can you'll have your LibGuides account so that you'll be able to add your LibGuide once you have completed it. But the LibGuide is not due until the end of July. It's just that that can be a time-consuming assignment for some people, and because I see some of you are already working ahead, it might not be a bad idea for me to go ahead and make those accessible to you. All right, let's pause for a second here. Okay, some other things that I did want to mention very quickly, because again, this is a state of the course update. First of all, you all did very well on the syllabus quiz. No issues there, so good job with that. And I've not finished. Actually, I'm just starting of grading the first discussion boards that you all have done. I just started grading those, but so far for your week 1 discussion, you all have done very, very well. So I would say just continue that level of effort, unless I send you a note that says that your effort is insignificant or inadequate. I should say not insignificant, but inadequate. If I send you that note, then improve. But if you don't get a note like that from me, then that means that you are doing everything fine. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some APA. All right, so I'm about to go over 2 very common APA mistakes that I see students make all the time, and therefore I am hoping that by letting you all know a heads up ahead of time that these are mistakes that are commonly made, my hope is that you will take note of the fact that these are common mistakes, and from there you will go ahead and avoid said mistakes. So again, that's what I'm hoping you all are going to do, but you have to listen to me probably in order to actually avoid these mistakes. Now, if you've had me for a class in the past, then you've already heard this. So if you, like I see several of you are from my management class from the spring, Brian and Wei Ling, probably a few others. If you have already heard this, you can probably stop the video now because, again, you've already heard this. This won't be helpful to you. But for those of you who have not heard this, don't assume that you're doing APA correctly. Maybe just assume, or not assume, but maybe just realize that there might be teachers that you've had in the past that did not hold you accountable for proper APA citation format, but I am going to be holding you accountable for that. So if you want to do right by me and get the highest possible grade you can get, then I recommend you take heed and do what I am leading you to do with this, I guess, tutorial. Now first, well, not tutorial, but this basically little information session that we're going to be doing. The first one thing that I want you all to realize is that I am only going to be counting off for improper APA on 2 assignments in this class, the 2 essay style assignments. And those would be your virtual reference paper and practice, which yes, you do need to cite sources for that. And then also your Wikipedia edit assignment, which again, yes, you need to cite sources for your Wikipedia edit assignment, and you need to cite sources for your virtual reference practice and paper. So you should probably be reading some things to help you get your point across. You can go on the databases and get some information to help you make your point from the from information that you get in the databases. You can also cite your textbook if you use that, but you will need to cite sources. This is graduate school. I am not looking to have lazy students who do not cite sources in graduate school when you are asked to use a citation style. If you're asked to use a citation style, cite sources. That's why there is a citation style to begin with. But for LibGuides and for the semester-long project, I am not going to count off if you have improper APA. You don't even really need to attempt APA with the LibGuide. And then also with your discussion board posts, again, you should probably use some sort of citation, probably APA, but I'm not going to count off on your discussion boards if your APA is incorrect, because I am I'm looking at those assignments as being a little more informal. So if those assignments are informal, then I'm not going to hold you to doing perfect formal formatting of your citations in APA. So anyway, let's get into it. So these are two very common mistakes that students make. And by the way, if you are not going to buy the APA citation style manual and you don't have access to it at your library, you can get through this class by just using the Purdue OWL, using their guide for APA. And if you don't know how to get to the Purdue OWL, then you can just Google APA style Purdue OWL, and this will come up and it'll take you right to this. So we are currently using the 7th edition. There are some libraries out there I'm aware of that still have the older 6th edition housed in their ready reference section. Please use the 7th edition, but there are going to be minimal differences for what you have to do for this class. So let me tell you what these two very common mistakes are, and now that I am telling you these, please know that I will be counting off if you make these mistakes for the virtual reference practice assignment or for the Wikipedia edit assignment. I will be counting off. I'm giving you all fair warning, and I'm giving you an adequate amount of time to recognize that this is how you're supposed to do your APA. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Two common mistakes. The first common mistake is even if you have the first name and the middle name of an author, you do not include those on the works cited or the references page. Now, in APA, you use references, not works cited. I think works cited is for MLA, but regardless, you will use references for your references page in APA. And again, even if you have the first and middle names of an author, you do not put those out. The only thing that you write out completely in a references list is the last name, and then you do the first and middle initials. So you'll see that here, and this is a very, very common mistake. So again, if you see Jane Marie Smith, when you are citing her in your references list, you would put Smith, comma, J, period, space, M, period. If you don't have a middle name available, it's fine to just have Smith, comma, J, period. But like I say, even if you had Jane Marie Smith, even if you knew her first, middle, and last name, you would only do the first and middle initial and then the last name. And so for an example of this, and again, I will be counting off now that I am making it clear that this is how you're supposed to do it. So for an example of this, as you can see, you don't have first and middle names written out. You just have those initialized and then you have the last name. So Soto, comma, CJ, and John, comma, OP. And you'll see this as you scroll down, as you scroll down, as you scroll down. They never write out the full names in the references list, okay? So that is one of the two very common mistakes that I see students making all the time and that I'm trying to help you all avoid right now. Let's talk about the second mistake. The second mistake is going to be this here. So it's very weird how APA works, but this is how APA works when you're doing article titles, when it's an article in a periodical, a book title, and then also a web page title when you are citing a specific web page on a website. So when you are doing this type of thing, for those titles, the only things that you would capitalize are the first word of the title, the first word of the subtitle, and any proper noun. So person, place, thing, something that you would capitalize because it's the name of something. Those are also capitalized, but everything else is lowercase. And so that's a little different from how you would do your, that's a little different from how you do capitalization formatting in regular English prose. So again, you would only capitalize the first word of the title, the first word of the subtitle, and any proper nouns, which Alexander the Great, the would still be lowercase because it's an article, but great is a, it's part of the proper noun and therefore capitalized. So as you can see, life and legend are lowercase here, whereas they be capitalized in standard prose. If we are, this is my example for books. But if we were going to go to articles, what you would see is something very similar going on. So let's go to articles here, articles and periodicals, and we can go to, again, so as you can see, title of article, the only word that's capitalized there is title, and article is lowercase. However, when you're doing the name of the periodical, then you would conform to regular English capitalization. So the new criterion, that's the name of the journal, and as you can see, all the words are capitalized there. But for the article title, the escape of listening, only the word "the" is capitalized because it's the first word of the title, but you can see that eclipse and listening are lowercase. And you can see that in these examples here as well. This article title is Data and Experience Design, Negotiating Community-Oriented Digital Research with Service Learning. As you can see, data is capitalized and negotiating is capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. Now, when we look at websites, we've got another very similar thing going on. So for websites, you would have the title of the page. First word, again, is the only one that is capitalized in the first word of a subtitle, even though you might not have a subtitle with a web page. Okay, and so for instance, when we have this particular page right here, laziness does not exist, does not and exist are lowercase. I would disagree with that, by the way. And then media. All right, and sorry, I did have kind of a recording error there. Oh, and I've got a visitor as well. So I did have a little bit of a recording error as well there. And again, you can just follow these guidelines here. So your title of the page, you would just capitalize the first word in the title and the first word in the subtitle, and then any proper noun. So that is it for that. Yeah, she's, yeah, I love when she joins me and everything. But yeah, that's basically all that we have for this week. And so just make sure, again, I will be penalizing if you get these things wrong in your APA. So what I would do is just basically just be very detail oriented when you are trying to cite APA. And from there, if you're very detail oriented and you really, really follow the details as you see them within your APA guides, you should be perfectly fine. If you do have any issues with your APA, then you can also visit the Writing Center, and they can assist you with formatting your APA correctly. All right, that is going to do it for me. We did keep this under 20 minutes, and I'm glad. I am Dr. Jace. Peace and grace, and we will see you next week.